Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs. So we are getting close to the start of the 2023 season. 2 trials have been played. I'm going to name the team that I would pick if I was a coach, which I'm definitely not, thank God. But this is a fun thing I like to do, just to explain why I would pick people in a certain position. It's going to be very similar to the side that is picked in round 1 or favoured to be picked. It's not the predicted lineup, although it's going to show that on the image. It's actually the team that I would pick if I was the coach. Now, there's some great stuff that's happened with the Bulldogs in the off-season. The media department have done a great job. There's a lot of promotion of everything going on. The kennel episodes have been fantastic, so congratulations to the Bulldogs on that. I think there's a real opportunity there to engage fans, and they're doing it very, very well. And the ultimate goal is that they can do it so well that the need for, Facebook groups and all that sort of stuff won't be required, where you can just have a one-stop shop across all social media that covers everything off. That would be fantastic if they could achieve something like that. There seems to be a lot of focus on the Facebook groups, which I'm a part of many of them, and great communities out there, lots of varied opinions, and a shout out to the pages like Bulldog Supporters Group and Ultimate Berries and Canterbury Resistance Group. Lots of really good ones. The Entertainers is another one that's come up, which has got some great stuff on it. And the Elite Pathways Group, which I do a wrap with Edo from that page once a week. So just wanted to say well done to all the people out there contributing to the Bulldogs. Joey L. Turk, Benny Hassam's got some great photos as well, and all the people involved. It's a good community and making lots of really good friends. A couple of pages out there are a bit competitive, the way they carry on, and a little bit controlling from what I can tell. And I would be staying away from those pages. If a page only promotes positivity and doesn't allow people to express an opinion, unless that opinion's a gross a gross sort of defamation of a player or their family or something like that, we don't need to tolerate that stuff. Don't need that stuff on social media. If someone gives a constructive criticism about what they think a decision is, or they don't agree with something that's happened, they should be allowed to express that without being controlled or worried about. Really, they're just fan pages. So I thought I'd get that off my chest at the start of this one. It wasn't really talked about much in the headline, but the headline is, who would I pick in my side? I'm going to pick Jake Averillo at fullback. We'll talk more a little about Jake in a moment, because there's some questions I want to ask as to why he wasn't given the preseason at fullback when it made the most sense. And I'd like to know why. I've heard what Shoutout said about Hayes Perham and Gus and the like, and there's been a full advertising push on Hayes Perham across Channel 9, Sydney Morning Herald, and various online media about that. Foxtel didn't even know he was going to be playing fullback until about 3 weeks after everyone else knew. So it shows you how connected they are to what's going on at the Bulldogs. Channel 9 obviously got the inside running. So a big push for Hayes Perham, and obviously a big talent, and he's got the world at his feet. He's only played 17 NRL games and that sort of stuff, and he's got big raps. And that's maybe enough to make the case for him to be fullback. But I'll ask questions as to why Jake Averillo wasn't given first crack as the incumbent. When they're talking about connectivity and cohesion and all that sort of stuff. When there is so much centre depth, there's so much centre depth coming, and Stephen Crichton's coming anyway. It just seems a bit of a waste, in my opinion. But we will talk about that a little bit after. So Jake Averillo is the guy I name. He won't be fullback though. Hayes Perham will have that job, just so everyone knows that I am aware. So you don't have to tell me. I am aware Hayes Perham will be the one, unless there's an injury or something bad happens. And it looks like Braden Burns is the second in line for that role. And Jake, I would say, would be third in line. On the wings, so we've got Jacob Carraz at number 2 on the right wing. Right centre, Gerald Skelton is who I'd bring in. He looks ready. He plays like a man, Gerald. He's not a boy, he's a man. And he will do a good job in first grade. And, you know, I thought they're going to give him a few weeks though. I don't think he'll start straight up, but I think he'll find his way there. Unfortunately, he'll probably find his way there in place of Jake Averillo if things don't go well. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I fucking hope we win the first 4 or 5 games. And then, you know, it'll be all about, and I'll happily be eating my dust on this team selection. Eating my own words. Wiping the egg off my face. So Skelton with Carraz. Then Alamotti at left centre. With Josh Adokar at left wing. Obviously, those players, I think they're going to have a great year. I think we're going to see Alamotti, once he gets some good ball off a good platform, he's going to set up Josh Adokar to score points. He's very good at it, and we will see it. There'll be no doubt about that. He can run a skinny short side and power through. He's hard to stop. He's got power in those legs and those arms of his, and he's going to do a good job. I rate Paul Alamotti, and we can't have everyone in the side. Matt Burton and Kyle Flanagan. Now, people are a bit worried about Kyle. He touched the ball a lot in that trial loss. He soaked up a lot of energy, struggled in defence with cohesion and connectivity out there. They all struggled, the 4 guys on that right edge. Once the heat was into the game and they were under a bit of fatigue. So yes, we will have Kyle Flanagan at 7 and Matt Burton at 5'8". But Burton will run the team more from round 1. Kyle will be more of a supporting role, and that will suit Kyle Flanagan well. It'll suit the team well, and you'll find that it will be better as far as communication goes on the edges for defence and the like. So with Kyle playing that more supportive role where he doesn't have to be involved in every single thing, he can float across to the left, he can come across to the right. I think you'll find that it'll bring some variation. I'll jump straight to the lock position, which is number 13, New Brown. Now, we saw New come as a bit of a surprise. He wasn't supposed to play in that trial, but he did play, and he looked right at home as a first grader in the Bulldogs side. New Brown showed that he could play that ball-playing lock position, in my opinion. And I think that will add variation to the attack. It will help a player like Kyle Flanagan and Matt Burton. And New can also kick the footy. He can run from dummy half. He can do it all. It adds a lot of variation to our size. And he's big enough to handle the middle. He can tackle. He can play big minutes. New Brown for lock. Left side second rower on the left edge. Viliami Kikau, no brainer. He will be better for the run. We want to see the effort from big Viliami Kikau. We want to see that kick in. Kikau kick in. Big Ray on the right. Now, Big Ray's a left edge. Predominantly, he's played on the left. The right was a bit of a struggle. Under fatigue, he struggled to push across. Got caught in his heels a couple of times. He won't be happy about that. I expect him to improve. Big Ray, our club leader, we want to see him be the equivalent to Big Bill Kikau on the left and Big Ray on the right. Our props, Luke Thompson and Maximus King. They did a fantastic job in both trials. Both were getting through the line, quick play the balls, played like front rowers that we need. In saying that, both the Raiders and the Sharks probably weren't at their best in their forward pack. They're going to have to keep improving, and that they'll need to go to a big level. Manly are going to come out firing. I have no doubt about it. Seabolt, he's a good talker, Seabolt. He'll have that team firing. Although I think they, as usual, they get sick of here in Seabolt after a while. It doesn't sort of loses its flavour apparently, but apparently it's quite seductive early on, if that makes sense. You know, we'll see what happens. So they've got that. Reed Marnie at hooker. Reed is a fantastic hooker. Had a bad game in that trial. Balls hit the deck. Looked like the occasion may have got to him a bit. He's looked a bit nervous in interviews and stuff like that. But I think he'll warm into the captain role and play his natural game and evolve that game to have more of a say in the attack. And he can throw balls. He can throw good balls. Left, right, long, short, hard, fast. Great. He's got it all. Can tackle all day. Can kick from dummy half, 40-20s. Obviously, he'll be the 9 and the captain with Matt Burton. On the bench, Joshy Reynolds gets a call up. We have New Brown and Josh Reynolds in this side. I think it gives us more versatility, and it sets it up for contingency. If one of those gets injured, you can bring in a Jackson Tapine to play in the utility role as well, and have a ball playing lock sort of situation. I'd also be including on my bench, sorry, before I go into that, Josh Reynolds, there's calls for him to be going to halfback to replace Kyle Flanagan already. Very simpleton type of call. And I don't mean to offend anyone. Josh, we need him to provide that extra energy and spark. From the start of the game, that'll be nullified. That's when the biggest hit, he'll cop the biggest hits. I think he can build into that as the season goes. That might be something he could do later on. Right now, I'd keep him fresh off the bench to add that spark. And I'm really hoping that Serraldo uses our bench with positivity this year. Too often, the utility was just allowed to sit on the bench with 5 minutes to go until the hooker was almost dead in Jeremy Marshall-King, or until he got injured. And it was just like an afterthought. And left those players no ability to have any sort of shape on the way the game was played. What's the point of bringing on a utility when you're down 30-0? You know, with 10 minutes to go. Why didn't you bring them in earlier when things were going pear-shaped? That's when you bring them in. You find a room for them because they add spark, and they usually have, they can play football. And I just think that our utilities were used terribly. And when they used them correctly last year, we won games. Pretty funny that, and brought our fullbacks way into the game a lot more. Watch that Parramatta game. Definitely. You know what I mean? Anyway. Ryan Sutton to do that major rotation with Thompson and Max King. Franklin Pele, and Sutton was really good in the trials too. Franklin Pele, he's got to get him in there. Get in there, Franklin. Get fit. Give him 10 minutes each side of half time. I don't care. Get that kid's fitness up on the sideline. Increase his minutes every week. Get him huffing and puffing, and get that fella in the side. He's a cult figure in our side already, and let him play. That's what I say. And the last position, Jacob Preston. Now, oh my God, I've been cautious with this kid. I knew he had talent. I thought 2024 would be more his go, but Jacob Preston is ready for the NRL. Everyone can see it. After those 2 trials, obviously he's got to go up another notch in intensity and all that. But it was more so his defence. The fact he was communicating he was leading the communication. You could see it out there. He was talking, he was cleaning up, he was tidying up. He was doing all that stuff Josh Jackson did in the defensive department. This kid will be starting pretty soon, and the sky's the limit for him. I think he's going to go very, very far in the game of rugby league. That's what I mean. They're going to make good decisions like this one, and they're also going to make some shit decisions. And then you'd ask, why did they make the shit decision? Because it's fair enough. We're paying fans, we can ask. It's not negative. People who try and control negativity, are the ones who I have an issue with. So, there's my side. At 18th man, I'll put Braden Burns. 19th man, Corey Waddell. Not on this sheet, but you'll see his picture in this frame. But we'll go back to Jake Averillo quickly. Why was he not given the preseason? In the name of cohesion and connectivity and combinations, they had a spine that was quite settled, that was starting to improve and win a half its share of the games. That was still competing in games that they got beaten in late in the game. You know, he was there, ready to perform, ready to get that preseason, ready to go to another level. Instead, he's been replaced by a guy who was considered the next best thing in Serrato's words. Didn't play much first grade in a good system at Parramatta. Yep, good reasons as to why he didn't play first grade. Comes to the Bulldogs. Has apparently brought, hope to the group was the word that was used. Leadership. Trains really, really well. Really good communicator. So all genuine reasons, I think, as to why he's been put there. But why wasn't Jake Averillo, as the incumbent, as a fan favourite, and as one where the level that the team was at, why wasn't he given first opportunity, is all I'm saying. Why couldn't Hayes Perham put pressure on Jake Averillo from reserve grade? You know, why we're stacked with centres. We've got centres coming next year. Young kids that are coming into the 30, like Samrani and that sort of player, who also got big futures ahead of him. Why is Averillo playing centre? I think he can make it. And if you sort of watch the way he's been used in the trials, I think that they're going to try and use him like that, have him involve himself in as much attack as he can on both sides of the field. I think they're really going to allow Jake to try and evolve that position. I'm hoping that's the case. And not just sit out there and be a turnstile in defence off the back of slow forward play and all that sort of stuff like he's had to suffer so far in his career. So that's the question. If anyone has any answers as to why Hayes Perham should have been, it's a better idea to have Hayes Perham at fullback right now than Jake Averillo, I would love to hear it. I would appreciate anyone's comments on that. And, I'm not going to argue with anyone about what they think in regards to that. With Stephen Crichton coming in 2024, you would think it would be a good position for the Bulldogs to be in, to have a player that was, I considered to be almost ready to be a good fullback in the game. He played some fullback for the Prime Minister's 13 against Papua New Guinea and attacked really well. Defensively, he was a couple of late on assignment and stuff like that. I just thought with the pre-season and working with that spine, he'd be able to do the job quite admirably. And if it didn't work out, well then don't you? Instead, they bring someone else in who doesn't quite look ready yet. Hopefully, he'll get more of an opportunity to shine and get rid of the nerves and start to make his way as our fullback, and that's in Hayes Perham. The ship's already sailed. Hayes Perham is the fullback. But I just wanted to open that question up to anyone who feels like answering it. Anyway, guys, thanks for everyone's input. This has been another long video, but raised a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. And, thank you so much. Talk soon. Go the doggies.